What's good, YouTube? It's the Casual Gamer here, back again with another video, also known as J Bash Streams on Twitch. And we're going to keep the intro like that today because I want to get straight into this one. So NBA 2K26 has now been out and available to play for 4 days. And they officially just did their first update today. And not surprisingly, there wasn't any gameplay changes as they said that they're still monitoring. So today I'm going to be talking about a lot of the stuff that they should be monitoring and getting ready to fix by the time they do their first real update. Honestly, you guys probably already know what this is about. Is shooting overpowered, or is defense just not good enough? Now, before you have brain dead players and trash players get ready to comment something to the nature of this is what you guys asked for in terms of talking about not having RNG this year, you're right, we did ask for that. We've been asking for that for the last 2 years actually, but almost every single one of us, when we got the news that NBA 2K26 was going to have no RNG, yes, we were all excited. I was screaming for the whole first half of the year on NBA 2K25 saying, why do we need RNG? Just make defense better, which brings me into my point. After every single person who really just knows about 2K found out that there was going to be no RNG this year, we were juiced about it, but we also all said defense needs to be extremely better to compete with the great offense that's going to come from having no RNG. While I love not being punished as a shooter for knowing my shot this year, and while I love knowing if I miss it's because of me and not some shooting algorithm RNG BS, unfortunately, 2K still completely failed on the other half of the mission. Shooting and offense feels great as we expected with no RNG, but the defense does not feel any different. I would say NBA 2K26 defense is worse than 24 and 25, but that's not even the case. 24 and 25, they had RNG in it. 2K26 cannot hide behind RNG anymore. There is no RNG in this game, so now we are really seeing how bad their defense is. There is absolutely no balance between defense and offense inside of this game right now. The mechanics for defense just simply aren't there to even balance this. Closeouts barely work, which makes you have to jump at pretty much everything to ensure a good contest, and even if you are a split second late on that contest, it does not matter this year. It's not how basketball works, and before somebody gets in the comments and says, oh, it's a video game, it's still a basketball video game though, right? Everything I'm about to talk about here in this video is part of what makes basketball basketball, because basketball being basketball makes 2K 2K. It's that simple. I hate when you guys try to put semantics on it. It's just a video game. The game can feel arcadish, but it still has to have basketball elements. You guys can't pick and choose what basketball elements you want inside of a basketball video game. Alright, so let's get into it. Right now, offense is so good that you can't even really play logical defense right now on NBA 2K26. You can't leave your man for 1 second or your hands down for a half a second or you will be punished. This has completely taken away the idea of help defense out of a basketball video game. More so talking about not being able to leave your man for 0.5 seconds. Now, if you've been playing 2K long enough or if you just play basketball in real life, you know what help defense is. But for those who just don't, let me briefly explain what it is. Because help defense is not just a big man sitting in the paint. Help defense is also players who are defending on the wing to be able to stunt and recover. Stunting and recovering has been very effective on defense in 2K for years now. You probably stunt and recover without even knowing that that's what it was called, just because it's just something natural you pick up on it. You even try to do that this year, whether it's 2-on-2, 3-on-3, or 5-on-5. If you try to make the smart defensive play by helping out your on-ball defender, because let's be real, nobody's going to stay in front of somebody a whole game. That's what help defense is for. Your point guard is going to get beat. The same way we say if we leave NBA players inside the park, and that's why we should be able to shoot if we know our shot, because if NBA players went to the park, they're not going to miss either. That's partially true, but the other side of that is NBA basketball players on defense are going to be doing basic defensive mechanics to the highest level versus the highest level players on offense. And again, guys, I know that this is a video game, but I'm speaking to a very specific crowd that actually includes myself. We cannot say stuff like we're professional basketball players. Why am I missing open jump shots if I know my shot? If I'm a high level player playing inside the park or the rec, wherever, why am I missing these shots randomly in terms of talking about when the game had RNG in it? And I pretty much agree with all that, but we also have to talk about the other side of it, which is what is the NBA player doing on defense to stop the NBA player on offense from scoring? Because I'll tell you right now, if you throw 6 NBA players out there to play 3-on-3, it's not going to look like how it looks on 2K right now. You're going to see a lot of defensive actions. You're going to see a lot of stunt and recovery. Now, my problem with 2K is You try to make the smart defensive play this year on NBA 2K26 by helping your on-ball defender on a drive and simply just can't do it without giving up 3 points. This essentially turns pretty much every mode from 2-on-2 to 5-on-5 to a game of 1-on-1 every possession, which is already becoming very repetitive actually. So yeah, Mike Wang, if you end up seeing this, offense is great, offense looks great, the game feels good on the offensive end, but we need more on defense. We have to figure out how to balance the game to make help defense an actual thing, because help defense is a big factor to guarding NBA players and professional basketball players and people who are shooting to this level inside of real life, which is what we wanted inside the game. We're shooting at a high level because we're professional basketball players technically. We can't beg for one side of it and then just brush off the other side, because now it just creates this kind of slop that Park is right now. I'm telling you, it pretty much feels like 1-on-1 with 6 people on the court every possession. And I'm telling you guys, it feels like that right now because you cannot play help defense, and help defense, whether you knew what it was or not before this video, it's probably something that you were naturally doing or something naturally your bigs were doing that they just can't do anymore. So now the guards up top are in trouble, which just isn't realistic because you're going to get beat as a guard. Like I said earlier, guards are going to get beat. That's why if you watch basketball or even just watch or play 2K for long enough, that wing is going to show or a big man is going to step up if you're playing fives. But for this example, let's just use 3-on-3. So let's play, I'm a defender on the wing, I'm denying the ball, the point guard has the ball, my point guard is guarding his point guard. Their point guard beats our point guard, I slide over, I'm able to pick up his point guard or at least slow him down so my point guard can recover and get back in front of him. Or another thing you should be able to do, and this is what you really can't do in 2K right now, and I don't know if it's just a timing thing, passing too fast, it's a lot they got to figure out to make defense better. But the other thing that you're supposed to be able to do help-wise in that situation is, say I just pick up the point guard's man, my point guard gets B, so my point guard shoots right over to the wing to guard my man. A nice and simple switch. Another thing that you just cannot do in NBA 2K26 right now. All the smart things you do to combat good offense, you cannot do in NBA 2K26 right now. And this is just me talking about off-ball stuff. We're about to get into the on-ball stuff next, actually. But tell me, if you're not able to play simple help defense, how does every game not just become a 1-on-1, especially in 2-on-2 and 3-on-3 modes? Fives you can't really help either, I'm not gonna lie, just because, you know, everybody could shoot right now, which is fine. Everybody could shoot, but that's what we're asking for. Like, we need great defense to be able to combat this great offense that you guys have. All right, I think I nerded out on off-ball defense and help defense enough, but I promise you guys, like, even if you have no idea what I'm saying, I'm going to try to have some visuals here just so you guys can see. A lot of you guys have been naturally doing this stuff just by playing 2K for so long. If you're not a basketball player and you don't know, like, the terminology and everything, a lot of you guys naturally do this stuff because you just pick up on it. And you probably noticed that you just can't do this type of stuff this year because everybody could shoot. That the shooting is the problem. I think it's just more of a speed of the game thing that they have to get balance. You have to give people time to recover. You have to give people time to close out. All right, now let's talk about the on-ball defense. Help defense issues, I can understand this early in the game still, but there's absolutely no excuse for NBA 2K26 on-ball defense to feel as bad as it does. I refuse to believe the people who make 2K didn't have at least an idea of what the game was going to be like without RNG being in the game. Like I said earlier, I truly just don't think that there's enough defensive mechanics to combat the offense. Defense has pretty much been the same for the last however many years without taking a huge leap of any type of improvement. Same buttons, still do everything, nothing really new. They advertise body bumping a lot inside the trailer, but you're lucky to consistently get a body bump or any contact on a drive, even if you know exactly where the player is going on offense. On the offensive end, we get stuff like speed burst and speed boost when we have the ball in our hands, but what does the defensive player get to combat this type of stuff? Offensive animation pretty much takes over and turns you into a cone sometimes. You could play 20 seconds of great on-ball defense and one animation on the drive can still reward the offense with the bucket. Now 2K has always had this problem, but it was way easier to manage when you could play actual help defense, but since you can't leave your man on the wing at all this year, you're pretty much left hanging to dry. Whoever's guarding the point guard, good luck, bro, 1-on-1, or whoever has the ball, it's 1-on-1. Now, I'm saying this as a player with an 80 perimeter defense, and I think I have like a 74 strength. I actually made my perimeter defense higher than I usually do with an 80 this year, specifically because I was preparing for the no RNG. I already knew shooting was going to be crazy, so I needed to be able to combat that. And to see how weak an 80 has been so far has just been very disappointing. Now, I do want to know if there is anybody out there with a 90 perimeter defense or higher, Are you having these same experiences? How does the defense feel? If you have a 90 perimeter defense or higher, let me know in the comments how the defense feels for you. Does it feel too weak for a 90 rating, or does it feel fine? Because the highest perimeter defense that I've played so far, I think to my knowledge, it was an 87. I went into that game expecting to struggle a little bit or have to work a little harder to score, and I can't say maybe getting to the basket was more tough, but just getting my shot off, I didn't feel any difference between playing an 87 perimeter defense and just an average perimeter defense player. I couldn't feel a difference in terms of just getting my shot off. I guess you could slightly feel the closeouts a little bit more, but still, it just wasn't strong enough for them to do something like stunt and recover, which it should be. If your defense is high enough, you should be able to play help defense with less of a problem than somebody with a low defense. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be mad at 2K for having a whole rating for help defense going forward. That would be nice, actually. Just like we say, if we put NBA players in the park, it wouldn't be a lot of missing. We could say the same for NBA defenders. An elite NBA defender is easily able to help out on defense and recover to his man. That's what separates an average defender from a great defender. The problem is there's no real separation showing yet between great defenders and average defenders. And if there is, it's pretty hard to see it. Offense and defense probably feels unbalanced as ever now, as I've remembered it. I can't even remember a recent 2K where offense and defense felt this unbalanced, but you guys probably remember. So what's the solution? Well, I'll tell you what's probably gonna happen before I say what should happen. What's going to happen is 2K will let this stay unbalanced for about the first month of the actual release date to ensure that everybody feels good with shooting on their game. Because at the end of the day, shooting being this easy keeps people on the game longer. At some point in late September or early October, I say, they will finally do an update, but unfortunately, I don't trust 2K to do the right update. Instead of making defense better, I think 2K will revert to what's easy and just make shooting more difficult. Meaning, we are going to come back to a game at some point where all our shots just feel off and we will have to adjust to a whole new system. Then all of us who are shooting really well right now with the current system, we're going to complain that they ruined shooting by nerfing it instead of buffing defense, because at this point, as someone who's been playing NBA 2K since 2002, I've seen it all. I think 2K is truly stumped on how to make defense good in a user versus user mode. We have to remember, while 2K has been making games since the year 2000, they've only been in this online user versus user park era for about, I want to say 2K14 or 15 was the first one. 2K14 was it. So yeah, they're only 11 years in, 12 years into this space of making user versus user modes. Before that, they weren't really in a position to have to do it. Like, everything had AI involved. Even the play online mode that a lot of people used to play before Park became a thing, they had to worry about making AI defense good. And that's what 2K's specialty is. The improvements of AI through the years has been great. The development of just the gameplay, the smoothness of playing against a computer or playing against one player and the rest of the players of the computer in those 5-on-5 competitive modes. Those are the modes where you could really see 2K's improvements in things like defense. The problem is nobody really plays play online anymore. Nobody really plays My League anymore, unfortunately. So while over 26 years of making games, they have developed a lot of this stuff, it does not get a show yet inside of their player versus player mode because they're only 12 years into a PvP game. So even when 2K talks about their defensive improvements on the trailers and everything beforehand, I always have to remember, this doesn't really translate to PvP. Most of the defensive stuff that they do that's really cool, you can only see it inside of those modes with AI in it. It's pretty much two different games, and I think 2K has to come to a point where they realize that Park and their actual game is two different games. And they're trying to clash them together when they're really two different playing experiences. If you go play online mode right now and then go back to the park, you're gonna feel like you're in two different worlds. If you go play My League right now or just offline versus the AI, you're gonna feel like you're in two different worlds, just how the game functions and everything. Alright, I got a little distracted there, but it's actually a perfect segue. Now, this is what should happen. Honestly, long term, I'm going to just get this out the way. Long term, I feel like NBA 2K, the NBA base of the game that's based off the rosters and the updated players every year, I feel like that should be completely separate from just the park experience and the city experience. Now, they would never do that because they make so much money selling us the $70 to $150 game every year for us to pretty much not even play a whole half of the game and just end up playing one part of the game. So yeah, it would be cool if that one part of the game, the park, the city, and all of that stuff was just its own game that just updated through the years. Didn't have to come out every year. You buy your VC. People would spend more on VC because they didn't have to pay $150 to be decent just to get on the game every year. But in terms of what they could do right now with just how unbalanced their game is, it's pretty simple. They need to get in the lab. Mike Wang and the team, or whoever it is, they need to get in the lab and figure out how to buff defense in a PvP mode. I don't care if they got to go watch hours of real life basketball footage and just take notes, or just whatever you got to do. Go watch elite defenders off ball to get a better grasp on how defense should work. Or if you want to watch hours of simple help defense mechanics and footage, do something to spark an idea of how these things that are necessary in a basketball game actually work and are effective. I think my biggest problem right now with on-ball defense is just the LT button feels useless. I just completely stopped playing defense with the LT button. I've been playing defense with LT my whole 2K life. Haven't really had a problem. I had to just stop using it yesterday because you just can't slide and get in front of people. You're better off just using RT and sprinting and cutting people off. If you could get the cutoff, and that's what my problem is. It's just so inconsistent on when you're going to get the cutoff. Because if that offensive player gets in that animation, which they said they weren't going to have as much animations this year, it's nothing you could do. If the same button that's been used to play defense for I don't know how many years on NBA 2K is pretty much useless now, I think it's time for a change in defense, at least for this PvP mode 2K. Overall, NBA 2K26 is a step in the right direction. The game looks and feels great. The only thing lacking gameplay-wise is balance on both sides of the basketball, which can be very detrimental to say it with me guys, a basketball game. So yeah, get in the comments. Let me know your guys' experience, especially if you have a 90 or above perimeter defense. Let me know what your defensive experience has been this year. I really want to hear from you guys who just went all in on defense, on just how it feels off ball mainly. I feel like on ball, if you have a 90 or up, then you could get away with a lot more. I probably should have just went higher than my 80 this year, but off ball, let me know how it feels. Now, before I get out of here, let me do some plugging. If you made it this far in the video, you might as well go follow me on Twitch. I think I'm sitting at like 187 followers right now. I'm trying to get to that 200, so go follow me on Twitch at JBadStreams. You can also find me on TikTok with short videos, shorter versions of pretty much what I post on YouTube and just clips and stuff. You can find me there at the Casual Gamer 47, and make sure you subscribe to me here. I have a lot of NBA 2K26 content waiting to be made. That's actually what I'm doing today. I'm not even going to get to play the game much today because I'm so behind on content. So you got about to see about 4 or 5 videos drop from me today along with this one. So yeah, tune in, man. I got a lot to say about this game. If you've been watching these clips and you want to know my shot, because I know it's cash, I already dropped it. Go ahead and go on my channel. I have a whole playlist for NBA 2K26. It is the top video where you could get my shot. Appreciate y'all joining me and listening to me yap about the game. It's the Casual Gamer, also known as JBadStreams, and I am up out of here, y'all.
Got AI, why? I didn't tell you to switch, AI. Trash, bro. Hey. Trash, hey. Bro. Hey. You suck. Like, why are you shooting? Like, just can't miss shots like that. Like, just can't miss. Messing up his head. No, no, you don't get a shoot, bro. You're trash. And you're messing up your percentage again. What are you doing? Now you miss 7 for 10. You're 7 for 8. You could have just smashed.
Take our time, take our time. So you can get an open one taken now.
Are you sure though, shooter? Or was it? Who is it? Which one of y'all got a good free throw?
Nobody. Steve.
Oh. The shot.
I won.
They didn't give me that? Fuck out of here, gang. That was my 10th assist. Oh my god. And you fucked up your 3-point percentage.